Every Friday on Facebook in the 417 Gamer group, we ask a question. We also have been sharing that with the board game group on Facebook. This is Houston. We have a question. August. Question number 1. What is your favorite game with the sun or using the sun as a mechanism? Andrea?
I like viticulture. You get to choose what time you get up in the morning, and that decides what your player order will be for the next turn. And there's a little rooster that you choose, and you put it by what time you get up. And I feel like that's really cute, the rooster getting you up.
And you also have the seasons changing throughout the game, too.
Yeah, you do.
For me, it's photosynthesis. It's a deceptively mean game where the sun orbits the board. And depending on where your tree is, you could be shading other trees, and you have to have the sun shining on your tree to get your sun points, and the sun points is your economy. So if somebody builds their tree in front of you, they could be messing you over, and you don't get sun points, and you get that round, and you're just really mad at some trees. From the game group, in the 417 Gamers, Whitney likes Andor Family Fantasy. Question number 2. What is a game that broke when you first played it? For me, it was Wingspan. We did the punch, put it together, and when I put together the bird house dice tower, I was too aggressive with the little tabs, and I bent one and I popped one off, and yeah, there was some not nice words said, and I use another dice tower, or I just roll them in a tray. From the groups, in the board game group, Richard says Craft Wagon. And in 417 Gamers, Justin, he says Everdale. I think he messed with the tree and that you gotta... Yeah. Andrea, what's a game that broke the first time you played it?
I still remember this traumatic event from my childhood. Mousetrap, the old-fashioned game where the little cage comes down. We played the whole game. We got to the end, ready for the big finale with the trap to come down, and it broke and it didn't work.
I'm astonished that you played the whole game. For me, Mousetrap was a game we just set up the contraption, did it once, and then played something else. The guy fell in the bucket, or you try to set it up and the guy wouldn't dive in the tub correctly, or the cage would come down and get stuck on a peg, and you're just like, play something else. Question 3. We were headed back to school around this time in August. What is your favorite game with dry erase markers or dry erase crayons? From the board game group, Mike liked Martian Rails, which is in the Crayon Rail series, kind of like Empire Builder or Iron Dragon is the fantasy-themed one. And then Damien liked Welcome to, Cartographers, and Explorers. You can find more from Damien. He's got a YouTube channel, at Merlin's Manor. We'll put a link in the show notes below. From the 417 Gamers, Kenny really likes Treasure Island. Treasure Island is a game we've picked up as well. We just haven't gotten it to the table. It's on the shelf of possibilities. Let's call it that.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, no longer shelf of shame. It's possibilities. Andrea, what's one of your favorite games with dry erase markers or crayons?
I really like Telestrations. It's like the old phone game where you would pass on a word and try and see what it ends up as. It's that, but you draw and pass it along. So yeah. I really enjoy that. It's really fun.
It goes over really, really well, and we're headed into the holidays, and that's one that I always try and bring with me. Yeah. Doesn't always get played, but it's usually a crowd pleaser when it does.
Oh, yeah.
For me, right now, my hotness is QE. Ethan from the 417 Gamer Group, he taught this. It is themed after the 2008 crash. You are all shoving money into the market to basically prop up everybody's housing markets and politics and stock markets and all this stuff. It's auctions, but there's an unlimited amount of money that you can put in there. You just have to bid in whole dollars, and whoever wins has propped up that industry, but they also own it. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points in industries wins, except for unless you spent too much money, then you crashed your own country's economy. Very fun. The last question number 4. What is a game that refused to go back in the box in which it came? From the 417 Gamers, Joe says Antiquity. Just a booger to get back in the box. And then from the board game group, Tim says Kings of Air and Steam. For me, it was Descent 2nd Edition. This was my first Fantasy Flight game that I bought. And Fantasy Flight games, for people that have been buying them for a while, know the Trough of Doom. The trough is in the middle of the game where they put their cards, and underneath, if you have miniatures, they're kind of underneath the box. But once I punched all the counters, baggied everything up, and they got the miniatures baggied and separated, they just would not go in the box a perfect way. So I had to toss the insert. And even then, it still wouldn't shut the way I wanted it to. But since then, I've acquired a lot of Descent 2nd Edition to where I have a big tackle box, and then I have a file folder with all the tile pieces. I have a bit too much. We need to get back to the table.
Yeah, we do.
Andrea, what's a game that you had that wouldn't go back in the box?
Well, it would originally until I fiddled with it. Our copy of Azul, we've bought some of the overlays, and we've bought extra dice bags to put the used tiles in. And by the time I get all that extra stuff in the box, it doesn't want to close right.
It does not.
But it was totally worth it. This stuff is amazing.
Well, thanks for watching. Houston, we have a question. Andrea, thanks for coming on. Do you have any social medias you'd like to share? Any Twitters?
Yes, my Twitter is MOAndrea.
Nice. You can follow the show at 417gamers on Instagram. Our Facebook is facebook.com/417gamers. And if you play games in the 417 area code, hit the join tab and we will link you up to 417 gamers.
Yep.
We'll see you next time that Houston has a question.